So we've been diving into one of the most subtle, insidious, and powerful psychological forces that shapes your financial life, the concept of anchoring. And I want to take a moment to really emphasize how important this is, because I think financial anchoring might be the single most overlooked factor in why so many brilliant, hardworking, well-intentioned people end up struggling with money, despite doing everything they should be doing. We talked about what anchoring actually means in a psychological context, the idea that our brains latch onto the first piece of information we receive about something, and that first piece of information becomes a reference point, a baseline, an anchor that influences every subsequent judgment and decision we make. And we talked about how this applies directly to your financial life, specifically through your first job, your first salary, that initial number that you started earning when you first entered the workforce. We explored how that first salary creates an anchor in your mind, a baseline that tells you what you're worth, what's normal, what's enough. And we talked about how that anchor stays with you, often for your entire life, subtly shaping your expectations, your goals, your spending habits, your sense of financial security. We discussed how someone who starts at a low salary often remains trapped in a scarcity mindset, always feeling like they're behind, never quite able to catch up, always feeling like they need to be careful, to scrimp, to worry. And we talked about how someone who starts at a high salary often develops a different set of problems: lifestyle inflation, status spending, a sense of entitlement that leads them to spend lavishly regardless of their actual net worth. We talked about the psychological mechanism behind this, how our brains are wired to compare, to benchmark, to orient ourselves relative to a known reference point. And we talked about how the financial industry, the marketing world, and the culture of consumerism all exploit this anchoring tendency to keep us spending, keep us dissatisfied, keep us chasing a moving target that we can never quite hit. We also explored the concept of relative wealth versus absolute wealth, how we tend to judge our financial success not by objective measures, but by how we stack up against our peers, our past selves, our expectations. And we talked about how this comparison trap, which is fueled by anchoring, is one of the primary drivers of financial stress and dissatisfaction. Now, this is deep, psychologically heavy stuff. I hope you've been really listening, really reflecting on your own financial history and how your own anchors might be shaping your present choices. But here's the thing. Understanding the concept of financial anchoring is one thing. Actually identifying your own anchors, confronting them, and consciously resetting them is something else entirely. And that's where we need to shift from audio to visual, because the process of identifying and resetting your financial anchors is profoundly visual. It involves timelines, comparisons, numbers, patterns that you can't fully grasp through audio alone. So right now, I'm going to transition to full visual mode, and I'm going to put up something on your screen that I think will be genuinely eye-opening. I'm going to show you a visual timeline of a typical financial life, from that first salary to retirement. And I'm going to overlay the anchor point on that timeline, so you can see exactly how it influences every financial decision along the way. You'll see the moments where the anchor pulls you one way or another, the moments where you could have escaped its gravitational pull, but didn't even realize it was there. I'm going to share with you a visual exercise that will help you identify your own financial anchors, a simple, step-by-step process that involves mapping your salary history, your expense patterns, your savings rate, and your financial expectations against the anchor that was set in your first job. You'll be able to see, in clear visual terms, where your anchor is holding you back, where it's serving you, and where it's silently limiting your potential. I'm also going to show you a case study, a real person who successfully identified and reset their financial anchor, and what that journey looked like visually. You'll see the before and after charts, the shifts in spending patterns, the changes in savings rates, the transformation in their relationship with money. And you'll see that the process wasn't easy, but it was absolutely possible, and the results were extraordinary. And I'm going to put up a visual framework, a mental model that you can use to evaluate any financial decision in light of your anchor. This framework will help you determine whether a purchase, a career move, an investment, or a lifestyle choice is being driven by your anchor or by a genuine, thoughtful assessment of your values and goals. It's a decision-making tool that you can literally screenshot and keep on your phone, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to use it, step by step, on your screen. I want you to see what it looks like when someone breaks free from a limiting anchor. I want you to see the upward trajectory, the expanded possibilities, the financial freedom that emerges when you consciously choose a new reference point. And I want you to see that this is not just theoretical. This is practical, achievable, and desperately needed by almost every single person watching this video. So I'm going to change the format right now. I'm going to move from audio to full visual mode. My face, the timelines, the case studies, the frameworks, the actionable tools that will help you identify and reset your financial anchors starting today. Because once you see your anchor, once you visualize it, once you understand exactly how it's been influencing your decisions, you can begin the process of choosing a new anchor that serves your goals rather than limiting them. All right, let's transition. Let's bring up the financial anchoring timeline on your screen right now and show you exactly how to break free from your past and build a financial future on your own terms. Get ready to see your financial history in a completely new light.